So as all the cars reform the grid, the drivers will be hoping to get a strong start. They'll want to earn some valuable points from today's race, with final communications being done with their race engineers.
Here we are then, everybody. We're moments away from the start of the Brazilian Grand Prix here for the purple sector Formula 1 League. We've got the championship leader Glenn lining up on pole position. He's 28 points clear of his championship rival Justify. Every time we say Justify starting down the order and Glenn on pole, and the championship gap is such a large amount, we always say this is surely going to be a make or break, and every time Justify has proved us wrong and come back. But here we go, it's lights out and away we go. And it's Glenn who leads up towards turn one as Scott looking down the inside. Is he going to outbrake him here? Scott has made the move up into the lead going into turn one. So Scott making a crucial move there on the championship leader. Badman there running in third place ahead of Trauger and C. Faulkner, as C. Faulkner looking to try and go up the inside here of Trauger. And has got that one done here coming through turn three up into fourth place. In the meantime, Justify has made up one position here in the opening few corners up into ninth place. So that's an okay start here for Justify, as we see Basin there moving ahead of White Shadow up into P16. But Scott leading ahead of Glenn as Rexy Boy's moved ahead of his teammate Street Boy up into 13th place. T's got ahead of John, as John a little bit wide there coming out of turn four, as there's all out concertinating up a little bit there, and the Street Boy got back ahead of his teammates Rexy Boy as they went into turn five. But no, not too much dramas there, although John well out of the shape there and losing a load of places as a result, down to 17th place here on this opening lap. It is Scott though leading the race ahead of Glenn, so he's got the perfect start there, did Scott, and currently is taking the money and running at the moment. We've got Badman here, who's currently running in third place, the winner from Thursday night, ahead of C. Faulkner there with Trauger. There's C. Mac, one of the debutants here tonight. There's G. C. and Matty Pitt, justifying ninth ahead of Mark with T, Street Boy, Rexy Boy. Then there's Truckee in P14 ahead of Basin, White Shadow and John, rounding out the pack at the moment as they now come over the line here to complete lap one of the race. And Scott absolutely ditching everybody at the moment. Glenn can't seem to keep with him at the moment. Badman will be looking to try and get another one over here on Glenn here tonight after Thursday night at Mexico, and for sure he's in a good position to try and do that if he can. C. Faulkner there just behind, as they're all following in the spray right now. Justify currently running in P9 at the moment, just ahead of Mark, who's got his teammate T for company not too far behind him. As we see Basin here attacking on the back of Truckee down towards turn 4. Is he going to go for a lunge up the inside? Truckee goes a bit late on the brakes there and just stays wide as Basin keeping himself there, making sure Truckee knows that he wants this. But Truckee does keep it around the outside. Good racing there from those two, I have to say. That was really good respect there shown between those two drivers, and there's no dramas between them at the moment. Basin knows, looking to try and get on with this if he can. He doesn't want to have to send one up the inside through one of these corners. It's hard enough to do that in the dry conditions, as you remember with Hamilton and Albon a few seasons ago. And obviously he doesn't want to be doing anything like that here tonight as Basin. But tucks in for the time being, and Truckee's able to hold on to that position for now, as this is really the closest battle going on right now. We've got Matty, who looks to be closing up onto the back of G.C. a little bit in this fight for 7th place, although doesn't look like he's really close enough to put him under a tremendous amount of pressure at the moment. C-Mac is currently keeping Jaguar honest at the moment in the battle for 5th and 6th places, but they're not running too close at this stage, I wouldn't say. As we see Rexy Boy here, who's trying to get onto the back of Street Boy as well as teammate, as these two Ferraris battered it out.
My coffee down, please.
White Basin is running in P15 at the moment here, so he looks like he's in a bit of a sandwich at the moment. As we see White Shadow looking to the inside there. Oh, he tags over the curb a little bit there, just White Shadow. A bit shaky there from him, as Basin is now looking to try and attack on Truckee here in towards turn 5.
I can't say this down.
So we've got Scott leading the way by 3 seconds ahead of Glenn, as we see C. Faulkner there was having a little look there, or was he just wobbling? I'm not sure. It looked like he was making a feint there, but I think he actually was just wobbling as he went into the final corner there. Matty still keeping G.C. on his toes right now, as he's really closing up here is Matty Pitt. D.C. got a horrible run there coming through the final corner, and Matty Pitt is going to look to the outside now. Surely he's going to have a chance to make the move. He has to tuck in there because the slipstream was not really negating his lack of straight line speed in comparison to the Red Bull, and G.C. does hold on for 7th place for the time being, as Matty Pitt seemed to have a great run there coming out of the corner, but couldn't make anything of it, as Basin has moved ahead of Truckee up into 14th place, a little bit wide there through turn 1, but gets it turned in, and has got that done up into P14. C. Faulkner is still past Badman at the moment. He's not really able to make an impression on him at this stage. Badman is dropping off of Clen quite a bit at this stage as well. C-Mac is trying to put the pressure here on Draga. These two guys have dropped off of the leaders by quite a lot at this stage, and when I say leaders, I mean the battle for second, because Scott is currently dancing in the distance. He's doing the rain dance here at Interlagos tonight, is Scott, and seems to be really enjoying these conditions compared to everyone else, because I'm not really sure how much you can be enjoying these conditions realistically, but compared to everyone else, Scott is coming in. So clearly he thinks that these wet tyres are now not doing the job anymore. So Scott coming into the pits at the first time of asking, and so is Clen, Badman, Justify, Drauga, C-Mac, Matty and Mark. So lots of drivers coming in at the first opportunity. G.C. actually started on the Inters, so might be, well, I mean, the thing is, he has to do one less pit stop potentially, so this could work really well for G.C. He's a long way behind C. Faulkner right now, but is he gaining on him that much? I wouldn't say he is, to be perfectly honest, at this point. Doesn't really look like he's taking chunks out of him, does it? So I don't know if the Inters are better yet. They'll certainly be better in a few laps, but G.C. isn't gaining on C. Faulkner at all. Let's see how the guys on the fresh Inters are doing, because that could be pretty crucial. So Scott here's running in P4 now, and he's running about 4 seconds behind Justify, and Justify still yet to pit after starting in P10 and made his way up into P9 before all these pit stops happened. But it does appear that Scott is closing the gap a little bit to the driver currently second in the championship here this season. C. Faulkner now into the pits. Oh, he's got a 10-second penalty there for speeding in the pit lane. Deja vu for C. Faulkner. Some things never change. Unfortunately, a few races away has done nothing to help him acclimatise to those pit lane entries. They can be pesky white lines, can't they, those pit lane entries, I tell you. But C. Faulkner's got done for it, and Justify has just come into the pits. Street Boy, Rex Boy and Truckee following those guys in. Is anybody still on the wet tyres? I don't think so. John's also come in as well. So everybody has now switched onto the intermediate tyres. G.C. and T were the only two who started on the intermediate tyres. Everybody else started the race on the wets. So G.C. gets a bit of a reward here for sticking it out on tyres that would have been struggling, but thing is, he might have taken a heck of a lot of life out of these tyres by forcing them around in conditions that they had no right sort of working in. But currently Scott is in second place. Technically I suppose a net lead, but I don't really know. It's hard to sort of call him the net leader, because at this point G.C. doesn't have to pit, and you would think that both of them have to do one more stop, but Scott's going to have obviously better tyres, although it doesn't look like it, does it? If you watch him at the moment, he looks like he's sliding around all over the place. But yeah, in the meantime, C. Faulkner's jumped Clen up into 4th at the moment. That'll obviously be a net, well, who knows actually. I don't want to say net position, because the thing is, it could be totally wrong. We don't know what strategies people are doing. Some people are going to be one stopping, obviously, like G.C. and T, and then some people are going to be two stopping, like all the guys who started on the wets. So it's going to be a tricky one to sort of keep track of, but Clen riding in P5 behind C Fortner, so obviously those two have swapped places. Badman has also had a horrendous pit window. I don't know if he made a mistake on his outlap, but he's down in P6. He's now 4 seconds behind C Fortner, who he was battling with in the opening stint. So it looks like something's happened there to him. But out the front, G.C. leads. Scott is reeling the gap down despite having a very unstable car by the looks of it. As White Shadow has moved ahead of C-Mac. C-Mac trying to come back at him here into turn 5. Is he going to be able to do so? Not by the looks of it at the moment. So it looks like White Shadow has made that one stick here up into 8th place. And that's a very nice move there from White Shadow from what we saw at the tail end of it as they went through turn 5. In the meantime, C Faulkner here looking to the outside of T on his fresher tyres. And he's now got the inside line as T tries to squeeze him up against the pit wall there. But C Faulkner having none of it here. Up the inside he goes. T's trying to hang it around the outside if he possibly can. Is he going to keep himself there? He's going to have to grip offline there. Looks like he does, and he manages to squeeze his way through. And the thing is, T labouring around on the spot there has kind of really compromised C Faulkner as they now come down the back straight. Has C Faulkner lost out as a result of that? Looks like for the time being he is still right on the back of T. And he's looking to try and make a move here down to up the hill towards turn 5, should I say. But this has really brought Clen into this fight here now for what's currently 3rd place here in this race. Neither of these two, or neither of these three, in the battle for the win here tonight, as things stand, because G.C. and Scott are miles clear in 1st and 2nd. Street Boy there's got a penalty. So that's 2 drivers now, C Faulkner and Street Boy, with penalties here so far tonight. But C Faulkner here in the slipstream as they come around the final corner, or around the final, I guess, yeah. I always call Young Sal the final corner, the final braking zone, but I mean, technically that is a corner. But C Faulkner here is all over the back of T, but he can't make the move despite having the fresher tyres. There's just hardly anywhere to pass in the wet around this track. No DRS, obviously, you have to get it done on grunt, and if the guy in front is putting his car in the right places, it makes it a nightmare trying to overtake. And this can be exemplified by the fact that Badman has closed in about 2 seconds on these guys in the last couple of laps, while C Faulkner and Clen have been struggling to negotiate the McLaren here, which leads this train of cars. As in the meantime, G.C. just ahead of Scott as they come through the final braking zone here of the lap. And Scott might be fancying a move here, but we've seen before you could be 2 seconds a lap quicker around this track, but overtaking is not easy if you haven't got the straight line speed. Has Scott got it though, as he's now closing. Now to the inside he goes here on G.C. and that's going to be a routine pass there for the man who qualified in 2nd place and got the jump off at the start, got the lead into turn 1 on Clen. Clen has not looked confident over the race so far. Fulton has now finally got ahead of T into turn 1. He's gone a bit deep though. That could allow T to have another run here down the back straight. Is T going to have a chance to get immediate payback here, as we see Faulkner wobbling all over the place there coming out of turn 3, I'm not sure. I've lost, to be honest, I can't count. But yeah, C Faulkner at the moment still ahead of T, and having made that move just a few moments ago, and now Clen's going to be trying to knock T while he's down if he possibly can here, as they now come back up the hill here towards turn 6. But Clen here is going to have to hold firm for the time being. Badman waiting in the wings. Drauger's right there with these as well now, so with all of that hold up going on, Clen has now got the likes of Badman and Drauger in his rearview mirrors. This is not what Clen needs. on a night where he would have been hoping that he could have extended the gap in the championship enormously over Justify. Justify is now ahead of Mark, so running in P10 at the moment, and about 3 seconds behind Matty. Justify is about 10 seconds behind this battle here, so if he can find some pace here in these tricky conditions, then Justify could end up ahead of Clen here. It's a long shot, but it's not completely out of the question. But Clen here in the slipstream on the back of T. What's T going to do? Where's he going to place his car? Looks like he's going to sit on the racing line here. So Clen could go for a dunge, but he's too far away. He's not going to risk that one. Clen has got a championship to think about here. He's not going to be looking to go for any rash or reckless manoeuvres. No Hail Mary type moments here tonight for Clen, but he gets a good drive there out onto the back straight. Now where's T going to place that car as Clen now looks to the inside? Surely this is going to be job done here for the championship leader. T's not going to make this easy for him as he keeps it close and keeps it tight, and he's not giving him any space there whatsoever. But Clen up the inside through the next corner, really nicely got his elbows out there, and Clen now into 4th place as T, Nick and Nat's now going to watch out because Badman and Drauga are going to be coming for him as well there. But Clen there with a beautiful move coming through turn 4 and can now finally try and chase after C. Faulkner, who himself moved ahead of the McLaren a couple of laps ago. So now Clen into some clean air. Badman and Jaga have now got to try and negotiate T as well. The other driver who started on the intermediate tyres, on very worn out tyres at this point, is G.C. who is currently 4 seconds behind the leader, Scott, at this moment in time. But to be fair, he isn't completely falling off of him. I mean, it's about a second and a half a lap. It's quite a significant delta, but it's not absolutely gigantic. But he's probably out of range of an undercut if he would to try and come in and go to the end of the race, or who knows if there could be some if the rain could stop and we could see slick tyres. We're a long way from that at the moment. Badman here is looking to try and eyes up a move here on T. Down towards turn 4 we go once again. He's still just a little bit too far away at the moment. And T there keeping it around the outside quite nicely. Really wide on that curb there, kicking up that invisible dust that we always see on that curb. Of course, it wouldn't be dust in such conditions as these, would there? But nonetheless, we've got T doing a good job here. He's being a true roadblock here tonight, is T. I've got to say, he's I mean, fully entitled to be so, because obviously he started on the intermediate tyres. His tyres are worn out compared to everyone else's. He's doing one less pit stop than these guys over this race, but they've all got to pit one more time, you would think anyway. But he's just got to focus on his race. He's not going to be fazed by the fact that these guys are in a hurry or whatever. That's not going to be on his mind at all. He just needs to make sure that he drives as fast as he can and he gets as many points as he can, and he's currently doing that at the moment as we see Badman looking to the inside into turn 1, a little bit too far away just there, and T holds on again as Badman and Drauga are looking to try and get on with us here at the moment, but to no avail so far, as Badman getting back around the outside of T there as they come down the back straight into turn 4 once again. So now the next driver to try and get the job done on T is Drauga, as we already see Badman now disappearing off into the distance. That won't be what Drauga wants. Drauga will be wanting to stay in this fight as long as he can here with the Sauber driver. You can see in the background C-Mac is starting to close in. Matty Pitt also coming with him as well. These guys have been consistently about 2 to 3 seconds ahead of Justify, who doesn't seem to have the pace at all. Here in these wet conditions, is Justify maybe banking on the track drying out towards the end? Has he gone for a dry setup in comparison to everyone else? If there's a safety car, we could be seeing Scott in a bit of trouble here, because I think he's probably gone for a bit of a low downforce wet setup. I'm not quite sure. I don't want to be too sure about that, but I mean, it's just a theory. But right now he's got a big lead, so as long as we stay green flag conditions to the end, or as long as we don't have any safety cars or virtuals, I think he should be okay. As we see Drauga all over the back of T as they come through turn 4 and up the hill towards 5 once again. And T there, you can see how much his tyres are sliding around compared to Drauga's at this point. Drauga is looking hot on his heels here, but where can he find this move? Where can he exploit the gap? So they're both sliding around, to be fair. Drauga's best chance is going to be out of Youngsal up the hill towards the start finish line. He'll get a good slipstream, and then into turn 1 will be the prime overtaking opportunity here for the Haas driver. As in the background there is C-Mac and Matty Pitt also coming as well. But here we go then. Drauga in the slipstream. He's just a bit too far back still at the moment. He's not quite within range at this stage. Always there's C-Mac as he makes the move around the outside of Drauga into turn 1. C-Mac with some devastating straight line speed there. I'll tell you what, I could see C-Mac having nowhere near the troubles that Drauga's had on the back of T in a moment. I could see C-Mac probably getting T on the start finish straight on the next lap with that sort of straight line speed. As long as he can stay close here when they come through the final part of the lap. I'm not going to see, I can't really see C-Mac being held up for too long behind this McLaren, but let's see what happens here as we ride on board with the Alpine. This is for P6 at the moment. And C-Mac, one of the new drivers here to the Purple Sector F1 League for tonight. We obviously saw a debutant last week, Badman, at Mexico. And we've also seen the return of a long-serving driver, well, 2 in a sense, although for one a bit longer than the other. Basin obviously hasn't raced in the league for almost a full season. And you've got C. Fortner, who's missed a good chunk of the mid part of the season. So, yeah, overall, yeah, it's good to have a lot of drivers, new and old faces, returning to the league. And a really good turnout from the core regulars as well. But here we go then. C-Mac now looking to the outside of T as they come down towards turn 1. Is he going to be able to go around the long way here? T holds that inside line coming into turn 1, and nothing doing here for C-Mac. And T manages to cling on there as they come through the centre S's, as we just see there the other Sauber of Badman coming out of the pits. So Badman's coming for a, or no, is it? No, it's John. It's John there who's coming into the pits from P17. So he's put a fresh set of inters on. So John there, he must have had damage, surely damage there for John, I would have thought. But in the meantime, T still keeping C-Mac at bay with Drauga right behind. So C-Mac hasn't made the move on T like I predicted he might, obviously with straight line speed being pretty superior by what we saw on the previous lap with Drauga. But C-Mac so far unable to negotiate this papaya car here in front of him. T has proved to be a thorn in the side here for quite a few drivers in the mid-pack, and it looks like this is now bringing into play a certain Justify, who could, if things go well here tonight, find himself only 2 positions behind his championship rival. His championship rival is currently 4 seconds off of a podium, although C. Fortner is only 2 seconds behind G.C. So Glenn only 6 seconds off of a potential podium. Well, technically 4, but C. Fortner has been quicker than him over the course of this race. So I can't see Clem closing in on C. Faulkner. His hope of getting on the podium, I think, is catching G.C. here tonight. But that is potentially on the cards here. Let's just see how things pan out. In the meantime, Drauga here looking on the back of C-Mac into turn 4. Just a little bit too far away at the moment though. But C. Faulkner here still trying to pile the pressure here on the back of G.C. It's been closing in for a number of laps now. We've got Scott there plumbing in the fastest lap of the race. Once again, has been in a league of his own tonight as Scott. It's been a phenomenal performance here from the man formerly known as Davidoff here in the Purple Sector F1 League. Scott's been flying since the word go of this race. The Flying Scotsman here doing a phenomenal job, as we see riding on board here with C. Faulkner into turn 1. He's now well within a second here of G.C. Track still visibly wet, so there'll be no DRS for the foreseeable, as we see C-Mac now finally getting ahead of T, and that's because T's in the pits. So C-Mac, Drago, Matty and Justify released into clean air. Justify with slightly fresher tyres than these guys ahead of him. I wonder if that will benefit him a little bit in his pursuit of a good, what could be a solid points finish here, if he can get ahead of these drivers in front of him. He's about 12 seconds behind his championship rival as well, albeit Glenn does appear to have a little bit more in the tank over him at the moment. But here's C. Faulkner then on the back of G.C. as they're coming through the middle sector of the lap, and G.C. just wheeling around a little bit there, but C. Faulkner looking to try and apply the pressure if he possibly can. So here they come then, and C. Faulkner with an easy move there in the slipstream, got huge closing speed there, and the job was done way before we even got to the line. And C. Faulkner into second place, but 20 seconds behind the race leader Scott, who has been a runaway leader since the first lap of this race. Wasted no time getting ahead of Glenn into the lead on the first into turn 1, and since then has just not looked back really. Glenn, the championship leader, currently running in 4th place. As it stands, will gain 10 points on his championship rival and extend his gap to 38 points in the championship. As things stand tonight, after tonight, there'll only be 3 races left in the season. So if Glenn continues, if we were to finish as we are now, the gap would be 38 points, and Glenn would go into the race in Vegas on Thursday with a chance to wrap up the title for the 2nd season in a row. So that could be what's on the line going into Thursday night, if Glenn can continue doing what he's doing right now. But let's see what happens anyway. It's Drauga here on the back of C-Mac. Oh, C-Mac there hits the grass a little bit, and here comes Drauga now looking to try and pile the pressure on as they come through towards the end of the middle sector here. Again, C-Mac there getting a bit sideways. Here they come then into the final corner now, as Drauga there nails the apex there, as he's got the slipstream here, and Drauga here is looking pretty much a guarantee move here in a second, although he just got a bit of a twitch there as he came through the final corner, and into the pits he comes. So Drauga, wow, I thought he was going to be in a prime position to make that move there, but hasn't worked out. So now Drauga into the pits. That pushes Matty Pitt up into 7th, and Justify now into 8th place here in this race. Are any of these guys going to try and long this stint out and attempt to put the slick tyres on at the end? That would be a bit of a risky one, as Justify looking to the inside there. Also, I think trying to cool the tyres down a bit, getting a bit of water in them. Obviously, the intermediate tyres do rely on water to survive. They're basically fish, these intermediate tyres, as we see Drauga out of the pits now, just ahead of T. So has managed to get the overcut on T, 2 lap longer stint, and has come out ahead. So Matty here is closing a little bit on T-Mac here in his fight for P6 as well. Looking like this could be a fight that's going to intensify quite soon. Justify well within a second here of Matty. Can he try and gain some more points here in the latter part of this race? We see G.C. now into the pits. Finally, G.C. making a pit stop here at the end of lap 20. So that's a long stint on the inters. Badman's coming in now as well to get those inters off. So we'll presumably go to the end from here. So G.C. Badman and Matty Pitt all in the pits. G.C. well, still in that third place at the moment. He can get the undercut on Glenn most likely, and will maintain that podium position for the time being. So out they all come again. Oh, it's Scott there putting a lap on a Red Bull. Jesus Christ, I thought there was something going on there. No dramas obviously with the ghosting. As we see T, who's still behind Drago at the moment. He's got Matty Pitt breathing down his neck as well. Matty on his fresher tyres will be wanting to clear his old teammate as quickly as possible. These two admins here at the Purple Sector F1 League. Riding on board with the former champion Matty Pitt here. As we see C4's... Oh, for God's sake, not again. Oh, for goodness sake, come on, man. What are you doing? Oh dear, C. Faulkner. He's got another one. Glenn is also into the pits as well, as we're watching the fight for 9th place here between T and Matty. Justify now in also, so a few drivers coming in. Glenn Justify, the two championship contenders are both in. Glenn's now out of the pits and off and on his way. So there's C. Faulkner, Justify's teammate. And Justify there into the box, off and away now onto the intermediate tyres, and away he goes. So looking pretty smooth there from all those drivers who came in. There's Glenn into turn 4. So Justify comes out P10, I think. Should come out ahead of Mark, yep, quite comfortably. So Justify in the end, a very long way behind Glenn, much further behind than he was before. About 15 seconds, I think, between them. Glenn into 3rd place now, so has somehow managed to get the overcut on G.C. I'm not quite sure how he's done that. G.C. potentially a mistake, but that promotes Glenn up into 3rd place, and that will only extend the gap between Glenn and Justify going into the final part of this season. Gap obviously 28 points before tonight. It's going to be significantly more than that now. As it stands at the moment, the gap would be 42 points with just 50 left on the table after tonight. So no, it'll be 75 on the table after tonight, but 42 with the chance to basically, if he outscores, if it stays as it is now and then Glenn outscores Justify by 8 points on Thursday, then championship's over. There's a lot of what ifs, but once you get to the what ifs, you start to see the cracks emerge. But Justify here currently running in P10. He's got T and Matty just up ahead of him here, so there are points on the table here for Justify. He's just got to get his head down and go and grab them here in the final part of this race. As we see Faulkner here on the back of Badman, so it looks like Badman's got the undercut on Faulkner, but we obviously saw Glenn getting the overcut on G.C. and he's now pulling away as well. He's now 2 seconds ahead of G.C. So that's not worked at all there for G.C. as he's off for the podium. I wonder if Glenn can try and chase down C-Mac and make the move before C-Mac pits. That'll be another task here for him. But I tell you what, G.C. and C. Faulkner losing out enormously in the pit window over Glenn. Are you alright, Nana?
My coffee.
Where do you want your coffee?
Yeah.
Where do you want your coffee? I don't know what you mean. I don't know what you mean.
I can't tell what you're saying.
I don't know what you mean. Nana, go out because your carers are going to be here in a minute. Alright, just go out. Just go and wait in the lounge. Alright, I'm in the middle of something. Please? Please be good for me.
I don't know what you want.
Please go and wait in the lounge. Close the door and wait in the lounge because your carers are going to be here in a minute.
If you can't manage it, Jumbo.
I don't know what you're talking about. Door. Door. For fuck's sake. So we've got C Faulkner here looking to the inside of Badman into turn 1. He's still a little bit too far away at the moment though. There's Matty Pitt looking pretty racy here on the back of T as they come down the start finish straight. Is he going to have a chance into turn 1? Doesn't look like it just at the moment. Justify still sat there waiting in the wings. Can see a chance of maybe 4 championship points presenting themselves if he can be in the right place at the right time here. C Faulkner has now moved ahead of Badman up into 5th place. Up the inside he goes. Badman though is not giving this one up. He's now looking down to the inside here, up the hill towards turn 5. But again, just can't quite make that happen there. And C Faulkner has got that one done up into 5th place after a bit of a shoddy pit window for himself, it has to be said. But he's now looking all over the back of G.C. And can he make the move here on the Red Bull? As Drauga there has got a 3-second penalty. So Drauga gets done for presumably track limits, as C Faulkner has got ahead of G.C. and so has Badman as well. So both of those two following each other through there. And C Faulkner now up into 4th place, but a long way off of a podium place, it has to be said. In the meantime, we've got Clen here on the back of C-Mac. And it looks like he might be able to make this move very shortly. C-Mac is obviously, well, he's been on those tyres for 21 laps as C-Mac, so he's gone a long way on those tyres. He's done really well, in all fairness. That Street Boy's got a 3-second penalty there for track limits. But Clen here will be looking to try and make this move on C-Mac pretty shortly. In the meantime, C Faulkner and Badman are still fighting it out over 4th and 5th places at the moment, but Clen here is going to try and throw everything he can on the back of C-Mac here as they come through this middle sector here. And is Clen going to have a chance to make the move here on C-Mac? As C-Mac there a little bit wide coming out of Youngsell. Here comes Clen then looking to the inside. And he's going to breeze past the Alpine there up into 2nd place, and that is job done there for him. C Faulkner's now got the gap just over a second here to Badman as well, so he seems to be looking a bit more comfortable at this point. As Matty is still on the back of T at the moment as they come over the line here to complete lap 26 of the race. We've got 10 laps left to go here in the Brazilian Grand Prix here at Interlagos for the Purple Sector F1 League. I'll tell you what, C-Mac has gone an incredible distance on those intermediate tyres, currently running in 3rd place on course for a podium. I'm not quite sure what he's holding out for at this point, because ultimately those intermediate tyres are going to be completely and utterly stuffed. But is he hoping that the track dries out and he can put the slicks on? I don't really know, because those tyres, they're not going to go 1 or 2 more laps, let alone 10 more laps. And they've got to be perilously close at this stage to getting a puncture, you would think. But he is still going. He pits now, he dropped down to about P11. So I suppose he probably feels he's not got much to lose by sticking with it for the time being, with 9 laps left to go. But it would be a 32 lap stint on one set of tyres if he gets these to the checkered flag. It would be absolutely incredible if he did, in all fairness. As in the meantime, we've still got T and Matty fighting over 8th and 9th. Justify still there. This is still a 3-car battle here for 8th place, but T still leading these guys as they come over the line here to complete lap 27. As here comes C. Faulkner then on the back of C. Mac as they come over the line. C. Faulkner now looking to the inside. Is this going to be job done here into turn 1? I think it is. C. Faulkner there has that move into turn 1 and up into 3rd place he goes. And that's beautifully done there from the Visa Cash App driver. And into the podiums he is once again as C-Mac continues to tumble backwards here in his closing laps of the race. Race leader coming around to start lap 30. It's been an unbelievable drive here tonight from Scott, it has to be said. He's been flying around into Lagos here tonight. Similar vibes to Hamilton 2008 at Silverstone. Just a masterclass, sublime display of driving from our race leader at the moment, who's just putting a lap there on the Sauber of John. And 30 seconds ahead of his nearest rival. He's going to be lapping. I think that's probably 2 laps he's put on John. I think he's lapped a considerable portion of the mid pack as well, or at least up to, I think, at least Street Boy, maybe Basin as well. Okay, so Scott hasn't lapped Basin yet, but he's only about 5 seconds behind him. So, yeah, I reckon Scott will be probably putting a lap on Basin before we get to the end of the race. And lapping 5 drivers so far, possibly 6 soon, in a 50% race distance is pretty serious stuff. As Scott just puts in another fastest lap of the race there. And into the 119s again, just like he was in qualifying. Absolutely incredible job so far tonight from Scott. Hopefully he doesn't stick it in the fence now. But we've got Bad Man here all over the back of C-Mac as they're coming through the final corner. And C-Mac's got horrendous tyres at this point, but he's making them work. And you know what? If he can lose less than 3 seconds a lap over the next 5 laps, then he will finish in 5th place. So he will get some reward for this, for doing this incredibly long stint on one set of tyres. But is he going to get them to the end? I mean, he's got to do, it's 6 laps, not 5, because he's just started lap 31. So it would be a heck of a long stint if he gets his to the end. He'd actually have to lose less than, if he loses less than 2 seconds a lap, or he can afford to lose about 2 seconds a lap to do.c. and still finish in P5. I mean, let's see what happens. The battle for 8th place is still ongoing here between T, Matty and Justify. Nothing's really changed in the last few laps. Neither Matty nor Justify has looked like really making a move. The thing is, though, if these guys continue to run in the train of cars, it could potentially bring Mark into this battle. T's teammate currently running in P11. And I'm sure that T would love to see his McLaren team score a double points finish tonight, so it could be well within T's interest to back these guys up into Mark. In the meantime, it looks like Truckee is closing up onto the back of Rexy Boy as well in this fight for 14th place as they're coming through turn 1 at the moment. As White Shadow has retired from the race, I think I can see a yellow dot going through turn 1. Oh my goodness me. That is the last thing that Scott would have wanted here. Is that the safety car going through turn 1? I think it is. It is, because Basin's just been done for speeding under the safety car. So that is a huge development here. Scott had over a 30-second lead in this race on lap 32, and we've now seen a safety car be thrown. Justify after being handed a lifeline, has just gone and got himself a 3-second penalty. And Mark has just come into the pits. Scott now in the pits. Free pit stop. No-brainer. Absolute no-brainer. That will mean that as soon as the race is restarted, he'll have a fresh set of boots and he'll be able to just drive away from the pack without any bother. So a very smart decision there from Scott. I must say, he's had a real presence of mind to do that, because if I was in his situation, I'd have just been sat there seething. I'd have been thinking, oh, for God's sake, you've got to be kidding me. It wouldn't have even occurred to me in that moment, I can't think, to have come into the pits. John's also coming in for a fresh set of tyres and to serve a penalty, I think, as well. Street Boy in, Rexy Boy and Trucky. These guys sort of running towards the back, not so much to lose. Clen's also coming in, as well as C Faulkner. So these guys will lose track position to Badman and C-Mac. Oh, C-Mac's into the pits. I mean, come on, duh. But Badman is now into second place. So Clen loses track position to Badman. Where's G.C. G.C. I think it's a bit too far behind. So I think Clen will maintain track position on G.C. Badman's going to be on worn out tyres in front of these guys. Thing is, though, Clen's going to have some lapped cars in the way between himself and the leaders, which could be a bit of a problem once we get going. Who knows? I mean, it might be a little while till we get going here. It might not be until the final lap of the race that we see this lap restarted. I'm just seeing that the safety car has picked up the race leader Scott now. I can just see them coming through just coming through into the final sector now, as they're just coming down towards Youngsal. So that the train is now forming, but it could be a couple of laps until we see all the drivers assembled behind the train of cars, behind the safety car. So sit tight here, guys, because we could be here for a little while yet. I wouldn't rule out this race finishing under safety car, if I'm perfectly honest. I really wouldn't. I'm not sure if races on this game can finish on the safety car. I've never seen it before. But who knows how it's going to all end up. But Scott, currently out the front, just has to drive around on fresh tyres for the last lap of the race. Oh, Clen's back in the pits. What is going on? Clen is in the pits, so he must have had a penalty. Oh my goodness me. And Justify, just like that, has been handed a lifeline back into this championship. Can you believe it? Can you believe it? Justify has just been thrown a massive bone here in the final closing stages here of this Brazilian Grand Prix. He's now going to go from what would have been about over a 40-point gap in the championship. He's going to end up outscoring his championship rival here tonight by 4 points as it stands. The gap will only be 24 points in the championship going into Las Vegas on Thursday. So not only will Clen not be able to wrap up the championship, but he could end up going away from Las Vegas in second in the championship. What a turnaround this is. This is absolutely sensational, as we see the safety car coming in at the end of this lap when basically there's no one behind it. So God knows how that's going to happen, but that probably means that a lot of these drivers behind aren't going to be able to make any moves at the end of this race, because they're not going to be sat behind a train of cars raring to go. So here we go then. Scott on his fresh tyres is going to drop the hammer, and he's going to absolutely piss off into the distance here in these final couple of laps, as he's now off and away. So Scott's won this race, we all know that already, but Badman is going to try and keep G.C. and Draga behind, and these three guys are going to try and keep C-Mac and C Faulkner behind on their fresh tyres. This is going to be fascinating to see, as we see the lapped car there of John moving well out of the way. Badman's teammate there making sure he's not distracting any of these drivers as they come into turn 1, but Scott already clearing away as he comes in towards turn 4. There's Badman at the G.C. with Draga, C-Mac, as we see a lot of cars here looking at the inside, as C Faulkner was trying to have a look there on the inside of C-Mac, but too far back there going into turn 4. Basin has come into the pits here for God knows what reason, as we see a big battle here going on. The Street Boys got Trucky in close contention here, as Rexy Boys going backwards here up the hill. But in the meantime, it's Scott, who's got a second and a half lead. We've got G.C. who's got Drauger, C-Mac, C. Faulkner. These guys all are packed into a very short space indeed, as C. Faulkner with nowhere to go. And we've got a bit of ghosting going on there in front of us there, as C-Mac seems to be inside the Red Bull there of Truckee, as he's now making his way through. But C-Mac here trying to keep with these leaders. Obviously, when I say the leaders, I mean the second and third place drivers. Well, in fact, it's not actually second, because Badman's well up the road. So he's going to try and make this move here on Drauger for third place. Drauger on very worn out tyres compared to C-Mac and C. Faulkner, as C. Faulkner now looking to the outside of C-Mac here into turn one, but he's not going to be able to make that one go around the outside there. C-Mac for the time being holding on to fourth place here. Now he can try and attack on Drauger, who's on 13 lap older tyres than himself, as he's also trying to put a lap here on the Red Bull of Truckee. And just in front of them is the Ferrari of Street Boy, who's being passed now by the Red Bull of Truckee. So Truckee there ghosting through the driver who he's trying to battle here for 13th place. We're watching the battle going on here for third place between Drauger and C-Mac, with C. Faulkner right on these guys' tails here. So this is a 3-0 fight here for the podium places, but Drauger's looking pretty vulnerable here on these worn out tyres, as Justify has now moved into 6th place ahead of T. So at this point in time, Justify will score 8 points in the championship. Glenn is currently running in P10 all over the back of Matty Pitt. If he can get ahead of Matty Pitt, he'll score 2 points, and the gap will be 22 points in the championship. That's if he gets ahead of Matty. If he doesn't, it will be 23 points. 21 points, should I say, even, between the two of them, as we see Drauger's now lost out to C-Mac and C. Faulkner. No surprise whatsoever there, being on his worn out tyres. Now C. Faulkner can try and have a crack here at C-Mac as they come towards the line. Scott, though, has taken an absolutely emphatic win here tonight. He's going to be in total control for the entire race. Should have won it by a mile without a safety car. Badman gets second, with C. Faulkner holding on for third ahead of C-Mac. Justify is going to come over in P5 in the end ahead of Drauger. So Drauger runs out of fuel right at the end. Justify scoring 10 championship points. Mark over in P6, Clen 7th with the penalties. So Clen in the end finishing quite close there to Justify on the points. But Justify scoring 4 points, and the gap in the championship 24 points going into the next round. Drauger, Matty Pitt, T completing the points paying positions. G.C. will be next over the line here in 11th place. You've got Truckee, Rexy Boy, Street Boy and John all finishing the race a lap down in 13th, 14th, 15th and 16th places. White Shadow DNF there a few laps from the end. Basin will be the last driver to finish the race here in 12th place as he comes through the final corner here at Interlagos, and it's going to be a good race, a good comeback drive from Basin, all things being said. But that is it for the Brazilian Grand Prix, and what a race that was. That was honestly the most dramatic race I've commentated on the purple sector, I think, I can remember. That was drama from lights to flag. That was brilliant. Excellent stuff there from Scott. He was in control in that one. He totally had that one under his wing. There was no one even close to him there. So fantastic job there from Scott. But yeah, I mean, honourable mentions to the podium finishers there as well, to Badman and C. Faulkner. Badman's made it a first and a second in his first 2 races here at the Purple Sector League. Great start to his career here in the PSRL. But Scott, Badman and C. Faulkner, your top 3 in terms of the championship. Justify finishing P5 and gaining 4 points on Clen. The gap 24 points in the championship. With 3 races left, it's still very much on. Justify just needs a few very strong results, and he's back in this fight going into the final round. But here we go. This is it, guys, for the Brazilian Grand Prix here for tonight. And make sure that you check out the race from what's coming up in 2 days' time on Thursday in Las Vegas, because it's going to be an absolutely fascinating end to the season.